Jesus the Christ as teacher. Jesus the Christ as teacher. We know what people called him. They called him Rabbi, Master, Rabboni, Master, Teacher. That's how others addressed him. We know when he was young, he was with the elders in the temple teaching. At the time of Christ's birth, of Jesus of Nazareth's birth, 12% of Jews believed in the Messiah, that the Messiah was coming. Of that population, 84% were the Sadducees, the Sadducees controlled the temple. They never accepted the idea of a Messiah. To the Sadducees, a Messiah was theologically absurd and politically dangerous. 10% were the Pharisees. They worked outside the temple in Jerusalem, went out in the different synagogues in the areas or surrounding, serving the communities. The majority believed in the Messiah. So out of the 10%, probably around 7. Pharisee means separated ones. And then 5% were the Essenes. Hello, welcome. 5% were the Essenes. Essene is translated into shovel people. And 100% of that 5% were convinced in the coming Messiah. The Essenes were the only hierarchical, structured sect of Jews, of good Jews. And the Essenes, they lived separate. They actually had a monastery called the Wilderness where they lived out in the desert. It was tradition for the Essenes to have one rabbi, and then that rabbi would pick one person to take over after that rabbi passed. The one rabbi would pick three special ones, so the one that would become the leader plus 2 others, and then 12 total. And then there'd be many followers. Now the Essenes were 100% convinced in the coming Messiah. And they recognized 100% that it was Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph and Mary. And he was known as the teacher of righteousness, or the righteous teacher. And so Jesus had the Essene blessing, because we see he formulated one to take over after he passed away, Peter. And then James and John were the 3 special. And then the 12 apostles, Peter, James, John, Philip, Andrew, Nathaniel, Thomas. James, son of Alphaeus, Simon, Matthew, Jude, and Matthias. And we see this sacred hierarchy up into the 9th century in the Christian church. Because Jerusalem and Rome and Ephesus were the 3 dioceses that outranked all the others. James was the bishop of Jerusalem, Peter was the bishop of Rome, and John, the beloved, was the bishop of Ephesus. So who was he? He's the Messiah. Jesus the Christ is the Messiah. And we can see it just by studying what was going on, the context of his surroundings, of the culture that he grew up in as the son of Mary and Joseph in Galilee. Galilee was the poor area. Nothing good would ever come from Galilee is what the Jerusalem hierarchy thought. And they say that in the gospel. Now the Essenes also had what they had called the cup of life, the cup of lifeblood, which they all shared wine in a very prayerful way as a community. And so Jesus took that, and at the Last Supper, we see it. And Jesus added the bread to symbolize his body breaking, suffering, death. And then, of course, resurrection and death, but resurrection after that, after death. Well, 3 people here, man. I appreciate you listening. I wish you would ask a question, say what's up. Please don't be shy to say what's up. I just hope you're well. I'm out here trying to stay positive, and I hope you all are too. Thank you, and God bless.